Welcome back, welcome back. The great comedians often make their names in collaboration with another talent. Laurel and Hardy, Lemon and Mathau, Morecambe and Wise, the two runners. My next guest has had his name inextricably linked, not with one other, but with two others. Mention Gene Wilder and people are likely to mention Mel Brooks, or equally likely to mention Richard Pryor. Now 73, this multi-talented actor and screenwriter has turned his energies to another form. This one is books. His first novel, here it is, My French Whore, is out right now all around the world. And would you describe it? Mel Brooks was surprised that it was a love story. Is that what you would call this, a love story?
It is a love story. It's funny, it's quite sad, but it's very romantic, and I call it a love story. It is a love story.
And you've just written also your autobiography.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was called Kiss Me Like a Stranger.
What was the origin of that?
Well, the original title was I Lean Towards Women. And when I finished, I said, this is a stupid title. It sounds like a man who's got one leg shorter than the other, and he's leaning towards women. And my editor at the time at St. Martin's Press in New York said, have you thought about writing an epilogue? And I said, I have nothing more to say. What would I put in an epilogue? I said, well, I'm just asking. And she said it again a week later. Did you give any more thought to an epilogue? I said, no, Elizabeth, there's nothing to say. I put everything in the book. About 5 or 6 days later, we were talking about something else, and she said, you didn't by any chance think of writing the epilogue, did you? I said, yes, I did, and I've written it. And the book is now called Kiss Me Like a Stranger, and in the epilogue, I say why I came to that title. I can tell you why, but it's on page 250.
Right. Well, we could find it from there.
Yeah,
so that's how it came out. And was this tougher doing a novel? I mean, a first novel.
I found it easier.
Easier.
Don't ask me why, but well, you can ask me why. Why not? It's your show.
Why? All right. Do tell me why.
I had written a screenplay 38 years ago about this love story, and I said, oh, I was in Paris and I was very lonely, and I said, when I get back to New York where I lived, I'll write it as a screenplay. But I didn't know much about screenwriting then. And I wrote the story, and I looked at the script, and I said, this is rotten, this script, but the story is wonderful. So I put it aside. I said, maybe one day I'll. And after I finished Kiss Me Like a Stranger, the memoir, 2 years ago, I didn't want to stop writing. I said, well, let me look at that screenplay again. I said, yeah, it is rotten, except the story is wonderful. So I started over again from scratch, and I wrote it as a novella.
Right, and that's how it came about.
Yeah.
That's how we got this. We mentioned Mel Brooks there. Mel Brooks probably had, of all the people you work with, including Richard Pryor, Mel Brooks had the greatest influence.
The most. I wouldn't be talking with you now if it hadn't been for Mel Brooks, I'm sure. Because I was acting on Broadway, featured roles, supporting roles. But when I met Mel first, and then he wanted me to do the producers. It was called Springtime for Hitler originally. But
right.
If I hadn't done that movie and then was nominated for Academy Award and all that, I think I'd still be doing supporting roles on Broadway. I don't think... I would have done Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, that was just a little short part, and I might have gotten other parts, but I don't think I would have starred in any movies without Mel. But I mean, producers and Blazing Saddles, and then we did Young Frankenstein. And then, you know, actors' lives, they go up and they go down, and I was Sailing to the Moon, and then none of those films, the producers, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I was going to just say, we haven't mentioned that one.
And Start the Revolution Without Me, all failed at the box office originally. And then the producers became a cult film, and Young Frankenstein, that was a big one. But I thought, oh, how am I going to survive this? And Mel said, if you can survive, if they still want you for movies after 3 commercial flops, God must have intended for you to be an actor. And I think he was right. I don't know about the God part, but after I did the film
That'd be a good title for your next book.
Yeah, God must have...
I don't know about the God part.
Yeah, I don't know about the God part.
Yeah, yeah. But and then, in fact, so it was much closer with Mel Brooks than with your other famed collaborator we mentioned, Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah.
But you made a very good team.
We did.
But you weren't as close.
We were close on the set, on location, or wherever we were. We hugged and laughed, but privately, socially, he had his own gang. I wanted to do something with him socially. We went to maybe 1 movie together and to meet and have dinner with a producer or 2, or a cast party, but otherwise we didn't see each other.
That was different. That was more a working relationship and so on. And then along the way, in addition to these books and these films and so on, you took on cancer
yes,
and won.
I took it on and I knocked it out. I had what was at the time right here a little pain, a small one. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got a kidney stone. And I went to the doctor, and it wasn't a kidney stone, it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And the doctor in Connecticut said, I'm going to give you 9 chemotherapies, and then if it works, I'll give you something called Rituxan, a new thing, and then you're all done. And I had heavy chemo, and they took all the stem cells and froze them, the stem cells are just, they're not even red or white. They haven't made up their minds yet what they want to be. And then after 10 days, radiation and chemotherapy, they came in with a bag like this of the stem cells thawed out, and they sang happy birthday to me. My wife was there, Karen, and I said, why are you singing? He said, this is the beginning of your new life, Mr. Wilder. And they infused the stem cells into my bloodstream. And I'm one of the lucky ones because it's 7.5 years now. And after 5 years, they said, you're in complete remission. I said to the doctor, can I say I'm cured when I go on a book tour, for instance? Yeah. He said, well, cured is an insurance term based on tables. Just say, if you outlive your doctor, you're cured. So I thought, the best way to achieve that would be to get a gun and shoot my doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I loved that doctor, and we're friends now. And I'm content with complete remission. And I get a CAT scan once a year now, just for protection. But that's all.
That's fantastic relief. That is, well, that's the God part again, perhaps, that we were talking about earlier.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, we do wish you all the luck in the world with My French Whore.
Thank you.
And memorable title, another memorable title.
It's memorable that I meet you again. I'm very happy for that.
And vice versa.
Thank you, David.
Great to see you again.
Thank you, David.